Hey people, Anthony, 4x4 Adventures. On the last video I put on 4x4 diesel, a few people put in the comments they couldn't hear me, so I'm going to yell at you. Turn the volume up, okay? We've got a bit of background road noise. We're travelling on the highway. At least it's not dirt road this time, but if you can't hear me, hopefully you can turn the volume up so you can hear me. Okay, this video, a little bit about caravans. Are you going to own a caravan? Do you want to buy a caravan? You're thinking about buying a caravan because maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's a bad idea. So I'm going to give you some feedback, okay? A bit of general feedback. Now, maybe like some of you, I was thinking of buying a caravan. So when I was younger, I always said, I'm never going to get a caravan. That's ridiculous, towing this big thing around. You know, you can just go get a cabin somewhere, or you can camp somewhere, this sort of thing, right? But the trend has been everybody wants to be overweight and tow caravans around dangerously instead of just pay for the cabin. So caravan parks haven't got that many cabins now. They're full of caravans that people have paid exorbitant amounts of money for, that when you take them a lot on blacktop roads and especially dirt roads, they do suffer wear and tear and fall to pieces. And it doesn't really matter what brand it is. Of course, some are better than others, and you can get one that was built on a Monday morning and one that was built on a Friday. So there's a bit of luck involved, but when you get some bad luck and you're in a remote place, it's not fun. And we've seen a number of people with caravans and camper trailers on the side of tracks in remote places for years, and you know what that situation's like. If you just think about it, you should understand that. Now, so what I was thinking, we've done a lot of camping, we've used the swags a lot, we've used the tents a lot, and it's all fine. We can fit in everything we need as we have it on now, and every now and then we can get a cabin for a bit of luxury. Tonight we're staying in a cabin, 110 bucks, you know, happy days. I think I'll probably save 110 bucks in fuel from not towing the caravan today, right? So, you know, things to think about. Of course, your registration, your insurance, you've got other maintenance, like I said, wear and tear, I said from the start, and there's going to be things you're not happy with that you want to change, and you're going to want to add all these extras. And then, of course, if you leave it too late, you're going to have some health problems, and then by the time you get all set up, and you've got to get that vehicle, of course, to be able to tow the caravan, and there's just so much money in that setup. Now, if you are going to use it for years and travel around Australia for years, then it might still be the go for you. So there is each to their own factor in this, what you've got to think about. But for people that are going to do a week here and 2 weeks there and 3 weeks here, look, I don't know if it's really worth it. So this is what I was thinking, okay? So we're going to get a caravan, you know, when the kids grow up, they've got their licenses and then they're looking after themselves, then we can go away, just the two of us and whatever. But by the time that happens, we're going to have seen everywhere in Australia, so we're kind of like, we don't really need to do round Australia trips like people do, you know, which is, we're lucky and blessed to have been able to do that if that's the situation by then. We've got a few more years yet. Done pretty well. Watch out for this cow on the left side of the road. We're ready to take an evasive manoeuvre, but yeah, it looks pretty relaxed. 3 of them, there you go, 3 white cows. Anyway, caravans, right? So there you go, we're in a car without a caravan. We can hit the brakes, we can dodge it, we can do all these sorts of things. If you've got 7 ton belting down the road, I'm going to tell you the 7 ton story in a minute. If you've got 7 ton belting down the road behind a, what was it, a Ranger? A Ford Ranger, right? Which apparently he believes is legal and he's allowed to do that. Anyway, we'll get to that. You know, you haven't got much stopping or manoeuvrability. Let's just say you've got 0, you try and manoeuvre that, you're gone. So look, you know, you've got some braking, which is going to be, your stopping distance is going to be massively increased compared to a vehicle that, look, I haven't ever looked up the Prado stopping distance, but it could be about 50 metres from 100, okay? I know the average, a lot of cars back about, 20 years ago when I used to look at these sort of statistics in my self-education, I've just given myself a doctorate in automotive, okay? So I've always done extra self-education above and beyond the normal apprenticeship, plus all those decades of experience on vehicles. And, you know, back then, 40 metres from 100, that doesn't include reaction time. That's from when you're on the brakes, and that's if you do it right, if you can drive and you do a good one. Foot onto the pedal, set it up, and then apply, rather than just stab the brakes, lock them up and skid down the road. Well, you know, you got ABS now anyway, but okay, so 40 metres from 100, a really good braking vehicle that was under 50 grand was about 30 metres from 100. I think like a WRX, I had a 98 and a 2000 WRX, and they used to pull up from 130 metres. It was just absolutely awesome. Really decent sized rotors for the size of the vehicle. It was only about 1200 kilos. Back to the caravan thing though, right? So you haven't got much stopping. You're going to be probably, I don't know, you're going to be out to 100 metres or something, maybe more. Anyway, we're talking to this guy last night in the caravan park at Kununurra. Young bloke, how old would you say? What do you reckon?
Oh, 30.
Mid-30s, maybe? Yeah, 30s, yeah. Right. So they've just taken a year off and they're travelling around. He's got didn't take too much notice of the caravan, a big caravan by the weight, right? So he's talking up to 7 ton. He says in his comments they're allowed to be up to 7 ton, okay? And I'm thinking, what vehicle? He said a Ford Ranger, so you can put in the comments whatever, I don't know about this, but I don't need to know. That is absolutely stupid, okay? So the vehicle itself probably weighs 2.5 ton. You could probably put a load into it, people, and load that, in my opinion, 3 ton for any, I don't care if it's a Ranger, a Prado, a 300 series, a 200 series or what, a bloody car at 3 ton, a Patrol, whatever it is, 3 ton is enough, it's heaps, you don't really need to be more than that, because the other thing is you're going to be adding weight in front of the front axle, behind the rear axle, and up on the roof, because you can't fit any more in the car unless you've just put lead weights in case you're manufacturing fishing equipment, lead sinkers and stuff for beach fishing or something, I don't know, you know, and you just, out in the deep, out in the ocean, mate, out in the offshore fishing, we used to use those, you know, those big, what sort of sinkers were they?
Stars.
What were they called? No, the Star was on the beach. There's these other big bombs. No, there's that, anyway, big heavy, you got a bootload of those, well then, okay, whatever, but point is, common sense, people, please. So anyway, this guy, he's amongst his comments like that was also, after this trip, we're going to get rid of it. We're going to get rid of the car. So he's paid probably exorbitant amounts of money to get this Lovells GVM upgrade, which I don't know what it was up to. And of course, they changed the suspension, I believe. And the other talk was changing, what was it? The intercooler. What's the intercooler got a towing capacity, mate? You want to give it more, it needs more power, does it? It needs more intercooling. Okay, so they're going to change the intercooler because they've got to save the engine, because towing, it's going to, anyway, look, things do happen and whatever, but it's just ridiculous. Intercooler, did he say radiator as well? Or radiator maybe, and bigger axles he said, but I don't think they would have been, maybe they've strengthened up the axle housing, which is a good thing. This is sort of things you need to think about. There's so many things you need to do. If you want to be a better engineer than these vehicle manufacturers like Toyota or even Ford for that matter, I'll say maybe them and their engineers aren't as good as Toyota, but you know, I'll tell you what, I trust that whole team of engineers and those billions of dollars in engineering and research and development than I would some small, any country, company, business that, you know, does GVM upgrades, right? Go and buy yourself a truck, right? Go and buy yourself a bus. There's other options, right? So anyway, some big caravan, because if all I can think is, well, what's a Ranger? Is that 3 ton toner? They might be 3.5, okay? So maybe they're 3.5, maybe he's up to 3.8, or I don't know what it's gone up to. Caravan must be 2.5, 3 ton as well. I mean, to make 7 ton, 3.5 and 3.5, it's just this massive weight going down the road. That's just my opinion. And I was just letting him talk. I was doing the listening. I didn't tell him how crap it was, how much of a bad idea. I just listened to him speak, and I'm sharing with you, not from me necessarily as much what I think, but what he thinks. So at the end of the trip, so he's got the bug, he wants to do more of these sorts of trips, but he's getting rid of the caravan, getting rid of the car, going to get a vehicle that's more suitable and sort of maybe get something a bit smaller like that. And he pointed to a smaller caravan, still dual axle, and that's the only thing that I'd go for. The smallest possible van with a dual axle to be for mum and dad. You've got the table, the kitchen, the shower, the toilet, and the kids can be out in the swag, mate. If they don't want to be in the swag, then they're old enough that, you know, they've got better things to do, because they should be out in the swag, still enjoying camping out there with a campfire if you want to smoke everyone out, because some places are just way too many campfires and way too much smoke 24 hours a day. It's toxic. It's actually, you know, everyone loves a campfire, but in 32-degree heat, really, you need a campfire going all day, and how many people anyway? It's quite annoying, to be honest. That's how I feel about it. Let us know in the comments what you think about the campfire as well. I'm interested to see, am I the only one that breathing in smoke, I get a dry sore throat, you know, leaves me feeling a bit dry and, you know, whatever. Okay, now, of course, if you're in the Victorian High Country and it's cold and you need a campfire, get some nice clean timber, happy days. But anyway, I just want to talk to you about that. So consider very careful. There's a lot of caravans out there. There's a lot of vehicles for sale that have had these GVM upgrades. Obviously, the owners don't like them, or the whole setup. The big caravans they don't like, even with the GVM upgrade, getting rid of it. He's had a few problems. He's in Kununurra waiting for days, waiting for parts again. You know what I mean? And this is just one person that spoke to us last night. So last time I was in Kununurra, that's when I started the group on Facebook called 4x4 Diesel, because there was a bloke with a BT50 that was having issues, and of course, you know, parts issues, people in town that, you know, probably couldn't do things right what needed to be done anyway. So previous to this happening, I was looking at all these caravans and going, mate, they're all jam-packed in caravan parks or camp spots, that they're that tight. Wasn't the idea when you go camping to get away from it all? Let's get away from it all. How's the serenity, right? Well, there isn't any more serenity if you've got to go into a caravan park or the same spot as everyone else and park 3 metres from them, so you can just walk between each other by the time you've got some awnings and leads and bits and pieces hanging off the caravan. What was the whole point? You might as well stay at home, because you can already wave to your neighbour out your kitchen window, to your bathroom window, living on a 400 metre block anyway. You might as well stay at home. So what I'm thinking the idea should be is bugger the caravan, bugger that living on your small block where you can wave to your neighbour, go out, get some country somewhere, look at it, there's plenty of it out here, go and get yourself a few acres. You don't have to look after it all, you only need to do the perimeter around your house. Bush is bush, see, like that stuff there, they don't look after it more than 30 metres, it's just what it is, you know, and you'll get it a lot cheaper, you'll have your space, you'll have your freedom, because, I don't know, am I wrong, but isn't that what it's all about? And then when you want to go on a trip and go camping, just take the tent and the self-inflating mattresses, all the swags, whatever you want. Swags are cheap, couple $100 for your, you know, June double swag at Anaconda. Go get one of those Kings ones, probably same thing, same factory, same, you know what, different bucket. You know, go camping again, keep it light. That's what we're doing. We've got 2 swags on the roof, they're rolled up nice and tight. They've got a doona in them. We're just cruising along. We've got everything we need in the back, you know, tables, chair. We've got 4 chairs in the car. We've also got a table and chairs set up. We've got 50 litres of fridges with enough food for a family of 4 for at least 5 days. We can probably stretch 7, and then we're on to the cans and the noodles and whatever, so you could do 10 days plus if you wanted to. It's just everything but the kitchen sink, and then people actually aren't happy towing these things around over all these rough roads, these big heavy setups that they've invested so much money into, and they want to get rid of it. So have a think about it. That's what I was saying. Days before speaking to this guy, I already changed my mind. Okay, I said we're going to get a caravan soon, sooner or later, no hurry, whenever it pops up, because I think there's so many caravans. And with the inflation, and I shouldn't have said that word in the video, and with the interest rates going up, there's going to be a whole heap on the market. They're going to be cheap. Things are going to go that way, so prepare yourself for that. In my opinion, I've said in videos on 4x4 Diesel years ago, back in about 2020, 2021, when they were saying interest rates won't go up till at least 2024 and not much. Go watch the videos. I said they'll go up substantially a lot well before then, and people were putting in the comments a year or 2 ago, hey Anthony, you're right, they're going up already, you know, it's like a prophetic, you know, yeah, you see, you know, I said, well, you know, you just got to open your eyes and have a look around. So this is what I think is going to happen sooner or later. Eventually, the older people, they are going to pass away. It's happening. It's going to increase more and more. You know, the baby boomers, they've got multiple properties, they've got caravans, they've got multiple cars. There's going to be a fair bit of spare stuff, even though we've got the opposite problem at the moment, more population and not enough stuff. It's got to swing at some point. Maybe I could be wrong, but we're not doing it. This is not a financial and read the future channel. But what I'm saying is, we weren't in a hurry to get a caravan, because I thought, well, rather than buy a new one and wait a year or 2 like everybody else, let's just grab one of these ones when they come up, you know, a bit cheaper. But now I'm thinking, if I get a caravan, where are we going to take it to park next to everybody else? I mean, we can go park in remote places as well, that's good. Okay, so that's what it's all about. You need to be able to use it a bit more remotely and just pop into restock every now and then. But just have a think about these things. But I've gone, you know what, got to talk to the boss, if you like, because when it comes to purchasing caravans, trips and camping, for whatever trips that the family's on, I do what they want. So they get to choose where they go, when they go, how they stay there. If they want cabins, if they want to stay at the presidential suite at the top of the Crown Towers, then that's what'll happen. Okay, well, you know, maybe I'm exaggerating, you know what I mean? But if they go, yep, that's enough trip for us, but you can go, then I do what I want, right? And that could be similar, it could be different, who knows? Just have a think about it, people. I think we're going to hold up on the caravan. We're seeing all these caravans getting hammered. We're seeing caravans with problems. It looks like, it's not that much setup, but, and one of the big advantages, I've said it before in other videos, not being able to stop in towns, because you can't get parking with that van and everybody else with their vans. It's a big, so I asked questions like that to this guy that was already, and I said to these contributors, and he had the big smile and nod, yes. So there's a lot of disadvantages of caravans. Have a think about it. I just want to put it out there, let you know where I'm at. So the caravan purchase, I think, will be on hold or not happening. I think I'd rather put money towards a investment property that we would possibly holiday rent, which would bring some sort of income either to pay for it, whether it's negative, positive geared, depending on your own personal situation, and then be able to go on a holiday and stay there. Get whoever's, if you're managing it yourself, or the real estate to block it out for that month or that week or that 3 months or whatever it is, and go and stay. We've got a lot of rocks off that one. Beautiful. And do it that way, because at least you've got a bit more space than the caravan. You don't have to tow it there. You've got options. You can fly in, fly out, or drive in, drive out. You can camp your way there, camp your way back. You've got a lot of options. Anyway, things to think about in relation to caravan purchasing. So I will call this video something along those lines to do with, do you really want to buy a caravan? I think something like that. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe, turn the bell on if you did. You've got some other videos there. Got quite a diverse range of videos there. It is the reality channel. What you can really do with your four-wheel drive and not wreck it. We're not out there to wreck cars. Got a number of different vehicles, anything from harder tracks, touring tips and information, showing you some nice spots. There's going to be some recovery gear and recovery videos eventually. How much time we got in a day, a week, and a month, so many things to do. And that's why I'm making the most of sharing this information with you now while we're driving. So, good bit of road there. There's nobody to fix the roads either, apparently. See how that goes with your caravan, even on the blacktop. The Toyotas can handle it well, there's no issue there. Got some other videos coming out soon. We're going to talk about the KO2 tyre with a bit of stone in it on one channel or the other. I'm not sure which one, so be on 4BUYs and 4BUY Adventures. And yes, we are closed, so stop texting, ringing and all that sort of thing, because you're not going to get anything. What's going on? He's just pulling off the road. It's going to say, what's going on here? There you go, a bus. A bus and a truck, a tour bus, whatever, yeah. So yeah, you can go on a tour bus, you can spend 15 grand a head for about 4 weeks. I think that's a big rip-off as well. If you save that, what are you going to get? Only one trip of a lifetime? You only get 4 weeks. Or you're going to do another 4 weeks, another 4 weeks. So that's 60 grand. See what I mean, where the money's going? You can own a Toyota Prado for that. GX is the way to go. And then it can take you at lots of places. A little bit more money, one more trip on top of that. Put the money into the vehicle. And then the trips after that, all you've got to pay towards fuel. You can get cheap or free camping. You can get cheap food while you're travelling. You can eat relatively healthy and very cheap. You don't have to go out and eat all these extravagant, expensive meals and steak and meat products and dairy and all these things that are quite expensive as well. So anyway, waffling on a bit. Some people love the waffle. So if you've made it all the way to the end right now, all you got to write in the comment is waffle. And if you've got any feedback on any of the other information, what you think, I'd love to see it in the comments. I will be taking a look. Thank you once again. Catch you on the next one. See ya.